Hi, welcome to another edition of the Alan Rosenberg Show. And what you see before you is pretty much the Keith Richards solo collection. Pretty much everything Keith's done solo. I'm going to be talking about the recently released Uber box set of Main Offender. It is his third Uber Super Deluxe box set, and I have the other two right there. So let's quickly recap Keith's solo career. Back in 1988, he released his first solo record, Talk is Cheap. Right there, Keith Richards. This is the original CD, and this is the original vinyl. Being a huge Stones collector, I pretty much get everything, and that's the original vinyl of it, as you can see. I actually thought this was a terrific debut album. I loved it. The original single, this is the 12-inch of the original single, Take It So Hard, I thought was a killer track. Just great riff, great tune. Of course, you gotta like Keith's voice. You know, he's not a singer, but if you like Keith's voice, yeah, I thought it was a terrific record. I wasn't disappointed at all. And what you can get with Keith's solo is very different than Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger solo, not to get too much into, but he's a solo artist. He writes the stuff on his own, he controls it, and you never get the feeling it's a band, you get the feeling it's Mick Jagger solo. Keith Richards, very different. Although Talk is Cheap is really credited as a Keith Richards album, as is the second one that we're going to talk about, Main Offender. Keith, and he actually said it at one point, he was blessed to create two great bands, and the X-Pensive Winos are a great band. We're going to talk about that. This was the Uber Deluxe edition of Talk is Cheap, and Keith wound up reissuing his solo records, as you'll see, under, Mindless Records. I guess it's his record company. And they're plush, beautifully put together. You get the vinyl on this one, another vinyl copy, remastered vinyl of Talk is Cheap, and there's another vinyl album behind it with outtakes and demos, but not a huge amount of stuff. And you get a ton of extra doodads in there, and a beautiful book, and it look like that. And what I've always done is these go for a lot of money, but if you wait long enough on Amazon, you can get them on sale, which is what I did. After that, and he toured for Talk is Cheap in '88, there was a huge bootleg market for Keith and the X-Pensive Winos live. So 3 years later in 1991, he got wise and he released Keith Richards and the X-Pensive Winos live. And that's what he did. This was a very cool bootleg of that live. And this was the original CD right there. Right there. And it actually came in this box with a VHS tape of the concert. Back in the days of VHS, and actually came with a little book, Keith Richards and the X-Pensive Winos live, and it looked like that. A terrific live record, and what an amazing band they are. Kind of remind me of the band, in the sense that they could mix it up. You know, Steve Jordan, crucial part of the band. He writes the songs with Keith. Keith could not write the songs on his own. Steve Jordan, the drummer, helps write the songs. Charlie Drayton on bass, Ivan Neville on keyboards. But these guys are so talented, they can play different instruments, and they do. So Charlie Drayton sometimes will play the drums. Steve Jordan will leave the drum set and play bass or whatever, and they can mix it up. And of course, Waddy Wagtail also on guitar with Keith, doing that weaving and switching off the leads. And then a couple of years ago, he did the Deluxe Uber edition of that, live at the Hollywood Palladium, December 15th, 1988, the live box. And kind of like Talk is Cheap, amazingly beautifully packaged. You get it on vinyl and on CD, and this one has the DVD. And then they throw in like this packet over here filled with doodads and bumper stickers and all this kind of stuff that really you never going to touch. This is what it looked like. And again, I waited for this to go on sale, and I eventually picked it up. But what we're going to be talking about today, focusing, is the new Uber box of his second studio solo record, his third solo record, which actually came out a year after the live one. So it came out in '92, and that's Main Offender. This was the original CD release of it. So there's the tracks, and in fact, I'll go through the tracks with you. It starts off with 999, which I thought was an awesome opening track. It's a blistering, maybe the hardest rocking thing that Keith's ever done. It's like a straight ahead balls out rocker, and I love it. I think it's a kick-ass opener. And then it goes into Wicked As It Seems, a great track as well, kind of very Stones-ish. Obviously, a lot of the stuff would sound Stones-ish with Keith playing guitar, but a lot of the stuff really doesn't sound Stones-ish. But Wicked As It Seemed does. Kind of reminiscent, some people have said, of Voodoo Lounge's track, Love Is Strong, and I can kind of see that. This is actually a better song. The third track is Eileen, which is what I guess you would say, a classic Keith Richards track. I think it's a really overrated track. But here's a solo single of it, Eileen. He has those kind of tracks. Eileen. It kind of is very reminiscent of a track called How I Wish, which is on the Talk Is Cheap album. How I Wish is a better song. But Eileen, he plays it a lot solo, and but it's an okay track. That's the third track. The fourth song is Words of Wonder. Real, genuine reggae track. I mean, it's raw. It sounds like it's recorded with the guys in Jamaica. In fact, back in the day, Keith was producing and jamming with the Wingless Angels, which is these Jamaican reggae guys. And if you never heard these CDs, these are genuine, authentic reggae. And Keith doesn't really play too much on them. Maybe he helps out a little bit. But Words of Wonder is kind of like that. You want authentic reggae, that's Words of Wonder. And it's kind of a cool track. It's not the kind of song you're going to play over and over again, but it works. Yap Yap, kind of a good groove. You kind of go with it. But what you start realizing is you kind of feel like especially on Main Offender, it's more about the groove and the riffs, but the songs are sometimes lacking. It's kind of like a groove or a riff in search of a good song. And some of these songs like Yap Yap kind of need some tightening up, but it's a good groove. I think this is a great example of where Mick and Keith would work together. Mick is the guy who will take these riffs and these grooves and fine-tune them and tighten them up and make them into a tight song with really good lyrics. And you can see that's kind of lacking on Main Offender, especially. After that, you get a thing called Body Talks. Perfect example of what I'm talking about. Body Talks is just this groove that goes on and on and on. You can't really even hear the lyrics, and do you care? Body Talks. It just goes on for 5 minutes. Kind of lacking. Then it goes into Hate It When You Leave. Possibly the most beautiful Keith song. It is an amazing, amazing song. I love the 60s sound of it, the sound effects on it. It's an incredible song. Great vocals by Keith. I think it's by far the best song on this album. And certainly his best ballad solo, along with Locked Away on the first album. Hate It When You Leave, an incredibly special song. Running Too Deep, another example of a good riff and kind of a monotonous music. Not to knock Steve Jordan. He's obviously a great drummer. He's playing with the Stones right now. And he can I could see him playing with the Stones because he can, copy Charlie's style to a certain extent. But the other thing with Steve Jordan, I kind of feel sometimes like he's just on autopilot. Charlie's got that swing, and you don't hear that often sometimes with Steve Jordan. And like Running Too Deep, Body Talks, it just goes on kind of without that swing, in my opinion. Will But You Won't, same situation. Groove, riff, but the song just kind of lacking. It does end on a higher note with Demon, which is a good track. Nice little tune. Interesting note on this. You see there's some 3 live tracks on this Eileen single, and Key to the Highway, the only place to get it was on here initially. But those 3 live tracks, recorded from the Town and Country, would show up in the Uber box set. So let's unbox this thing, right? I mean, I've been playing this thing for a couple of months already, and I've heard this album 1,000 times. So when you open it up, And let me see if I can do this. You get this huge pocket over here, but the only thing in this pocket is Main Offender on vinyl, remastered. Now, with all the vinyl people out there, you get a nice inner jacket. And then the vinyl itself has that cool, kind of clear, kind of cloudy kind of vinyl. Now, I know in the vinyl world today, people really get off on colored vinyl. And it looks fun when you're playing it on your turntable. But in all honesty, it's like, I don't know. Do you sit there and stare at your turntable with the record spinning? I don't. So it's like, I don't know. It's fun. It's kind of cool. And then you get this packet with the Mindless Records Keith Richards sticker. And what do you get in here? Just like those other deluxe box sets, you get a lot of doodads, and you get reproductions of a drawing and a set list and cool photos. You get a couple of cool photos. I'm trying to do this so you don't spill all over the place. And you get a poster. There it is. You get a cool poster. And a bumper sticker. I mean, I don't know. Am I going to put this on my car? Don't think so. And you get a couple of CDs. You get a black on black CD of the live album. That's the bonus thing in this box. And you get Main Offender remastered on CD. And you get some Polaroid, reproduction Polaroid photos of Keith and the guys. And reproduction, what is this, invitation. So you get the idea, some Polaroids. You get a lot of doodads. And at the end of the day, you get guitar picks, backstage passes, after show guest. I mean, I guess it's kind of fun and you stick it in here, but the reality is, listen, you're not going to hang your poster, at least I'm not, most people are not, and you're not going to put the bumper sticker on your car, because if you take anything out of the box set, it's no longer complete, right? So anyway, that's that side. And then on this side, you got the bonus on this album, which is the Winos Live in London in 1992. It also comes on CD. And there it is. Great cover. Great gatefold. And it's a double vinyl, although it's a little bit short on side D, the side 4. They call it side D. They really could have put the whole album, the whole concert, they could have fit it. And they could have put it on 2 CDs, but they didn't. So you get 2 vinyl albums. For all the vinyl people, yep, you get it on nice clear vinyl. Which if you have like the, on your turntable, you have like that mat. I have a cool colorful mat, so you see the mat through the vinyl and it looks really cool. But again, it's still music, man. I'm playing it. I'm not staring at the... So this is what you get in this whole box set. A double live vinyl album. The album Main Offender remastered. And in the middle, if you can see this, you get a beautiful... These are really thick, glossy pages, advertisements. Not a lot of copy. Not a lot of writing. Mostly pictures. A quick review of the album, but mostly pictures and captions. The pages are thick and beautifully done, and you get a couple of lyric sheets right there. So now it shows you the handwritten lyrics. I mean, it's nice, right? Here's the handwritten lyrics. Still going. Handwritten lyrics. If you can see this. And then the live is recorded December 17th and 18th, 1982, at the Town and Country in London. And there's the ticket stubs and the backstage passes, and there's the set list. And but you don't get the whole concert on the this album, but you get most of it. So at the end of the day, this box set goes for about $200. Now I waited a long time on Amazon and I got it for I think $63 including shipping. So for $63, I got the vinyl album, this vinyl CD of the album, and then the live concert on double vinyl album and on a CD. And then you get the book and then all of those doodads. 60-something dollars, I think it's worth it. $200, at the end of the day, what are you getting? You're getting the album again, remastered. It doesn't sound, to me, significantly different. The Keith albums are not overly produced to begin with. I don't hear a huge difference in sound. Personally, I don't hear a huge difference in sound from the vinyl or the CD. I couldn't tell you the difference. And the album's just kind of a mixed bag. But I'm glad I got it for like $60. I would never spend $200 for $200. There are box sets out there where you get 30 CDs. And in fact, you're only getting really the only bonus is a concert, and you're not even getting the full concert. So my dad used to have a saying when I grew up, and I never knew what the hell it meant, but now I do. And he used to say to me, it's more sizzle than steak. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? This is a great example. There's a lot of sizzle here. Beautiful pages, thick, huge packaging. But as far as the steak goes, it's kind of an okay album and an okay live concert. Although the concert's recorded December 17th and 18th. His birthday's the 18th, so at one point you could hear him singing him happy birthday, which is kind of fun. This was a greatest hits album that Keith put out, a best of. I guess this came out, I don't know, 2010 or so, called Vintage Vinyls. And this was a best of the three albums, the Talk Is Cheap, the live one, and Main Offender. And if you notice, this only has 3 songs on it from Main Offender. Wicked As It Seems, Eileen, and Hate It When You Leave. Wicked As It Seems and Hate It When You Leave are amazing tracks. Hate It When You Leave is incredible. Eileen, to me, kind of a basic Keith rocker and nothing special. 999 is a killer track. So anyway, that's my thoughts about the deluxe edition. If you're a collector like I am, yeah, you got to have the whole deluxe, super deluxe thing, and the packaging's kind of nice. And I guess it's fun to have it on vinyl with the clear colored vinyl. But I would never pay anywhere near $200. That's for damn sure. His next album, by the way, came out in 2015, Cross-Eyed Heart. It just goes to show you, I haven't heard it in years, and I'm looking at it. I could barely remember any songs from it. I didn't think this album was too much, to be honest with you. It's my least favorite out of all of his solo records, although there was a song on here called Rob Blind, which was great. Anyway, there's Keith solo in a nutshell. Let me know what you think. It's fun to have these deluxe editions, but there's so many deluxe box sets out there that they really load up with extra bonus stuff, and the Keith stuff is more sizzle than steak. Remastered versions of the albums, okay, I don't hear a huge upgrade in sound. Steve Jordan produces these things. They're not all overly produced to begin with. So let me know what you think. Please hit subscribe if you've never subscribed. Check out my other videos. Write your comments. I greatly appreciate it. And most importantly, stay safe, stay healthy. And hopefully tune in. I'll see you on my next video. Take care.